Hi, everybody. Well, I have a little bit of thought, and it's because I just came off the brand new Sun Princess and their theater design concept of theater in the round. Because they've done it now, Celebrity has done it on their Edge class ships, Holland America has done it on their Rotterdam, and I'm not a fan, and I'll explain why. So many of the ships are coming out with this theater in a round concept, and one of the reasons for it is because by enclosing your stage, you can actually make the theater smaller and still encompass a lot of people. So you don't take up as much space on the ship, however, you can still hold a lot of, almost the same amount of people. For instance, the Sun Princess, in the smallest version of their stage, they have 3 stage setups. The smallest version will hold around 880 people, and the larger version, where it's a full circle in the round, it can hold about 990, just under 1,000 people. So when you have 2 shows a night, that basically can hold almost half the entire cruise ship all at once, which is a pretty good showing because not everybody goes to those shows. Don't forget, they also have the Dome, and they also have Princess Live, and they also have the Piazza. Here's my issue with it, is they always say the exact same thing, that there's not a bad seat in the house. That's not true. Now, when you have Broadway shows, I did not get to see a Broadway show on the Sun Princess. They weren't ready yet. They're going to be spectacular. I've seen them rehearsing. It looks like it's going to be some great shows. However, you can design those stage shows for the round stage, right? You can spread your dancers out, so some dancers are facing in this direction, some dancers are facing in that direction. The 4 singers or 3 singers, or how many singers you have, spread out around the circle, and everybody can see somebody, right? You're looking at somebody, you're not looking at the back of their head or anything like that. Where a conventional theater, where everybody is sitting in front and the stage is this way, well, everybody can see what's happening on every part of the stage. So traditional shows don't work as well on theater of the round. A perfect example is somebody who's used to performing in a traditional theater, who is, say, a piano player, a singer, a magician. Are they walking around the whole circle and doing their act to every corner of the theater now? Or are they so used to facing the front that they're basically pushing their whole personality and facial expressions and show to 1/3 of the audience, and everybody else is getting a side view, or even worse, a rear view? And unless the performers start realizing that they're in a theater in the round and start developing their act for that. So if you're a piano player, unless you have a piano that is on a rotator, then you're just facing one direction, and there's guaranteed somebody's looking at the back. That happened to me on my last Edge class cruise ship. There's a pianist up there. I was over on the left-hand side, and all I saw was the back of his head and his back doing this on the piano. Not an entertaining night. I might as well listen to the radio, because I'm not watching the performer. I can hear the performer, but I'm not watching a show. Why am I there? I can just go up on the top deck and listen to the music. It's the exact same thing if I'm not watching the person on the stage. And the whole thing of there's not a bad seat, yes, there is. If you're in the back of that stage, theater, looking down, there are many places that kind of get cut off because of the positions of the railing, and there's a level that levels out where people can walk. People stand in your way, are blocking the aisles. I basically got to see basically 2/3 of the stage from the seat that I saw the performance at. So yes, there are bad seats in every theater, not just this type of theater, but every theater. But in particular, a theater in the round, if you do not have performances that are, generated to be around the stage and all the action and facing in all the directions, inevitably, you're going to have people who are looking at nothing, basically, looking at the back of the stage or looking at half cut off areas, or you're going to be doing this while you're watching the show, because what's happening is over there. You're facing this way, there's a stage over there, but some of the action is behind where you're sitting, so you have to angle yourself. And then when you're angling yourself like this, all you're seeing is kind of like the side of the action that's going on, like a line of action going on. And God forbid there should be some aerial work going on over here, and you're going to be trying to, it can get very awkward and make for a not great viewing experience. So if you're one of these people who enjoy shows like I do and really enjoy the Broadway shows and the entertainment in the theaters, that's one of the reasons I love cruising so much, well, I would say, for one thing, get to that theater early. Get there so you can be one of those people who are sitting in that main area stage front. Because the stage is designed for you there. It's as simple as that, especially for an individual performer or a band or a pianist or a magician or a comedian. You're designed for there. Now, comedians are often used to wandering around on stage and things like that. They do crowd work and, that. Same with some magicians. But not all singers, and especially musicians who play certain instruments like a saxophone or the piano or anything really. They're used to facing the stage, the audience directly in front of them. They might walk side to side, but that doesn't help people who are around like this. So I'm not a fan of this setup. Does it mean I won't go to the shows? No, absolutely. And of course I'm going to go to the shows. I'm going to really enjoy the shows. But this concept seems to be growing now. And I'm hoping when they design new ships, maybe they rethink this process. Because if I'm looking at that stage, and I looked at it when they were setting up for a dance number and they were practicing and getting ready, I can tell you, for instance, that having a seat in this area or having a seat in this area will definitely not be a good seat compared to sitting in this area. And that goes for all the theater in the rounds that I see. It has to be specifically designed that everybody can see everything, and your numbers have to be precisely designed to include everybody. And especially individual performers and individual guest artists and things like that, they're not used to that. And that leaves a lot to be desired when you're watching the show from any of the side seats in any theater in the round.